welcome back from the break. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. Tweet, 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 tweet. Tell us what you feel about social media today. So, guys, let me ask about the role. It's played a major role when it comes to politics, a huge role. It's given the powerless a voice.
Yeah.
Before that never used to happen. It just used to be go vote and that's it.
Yeah.
It was more of discussing in your house, but now it's played quite a huge role on social media. What's your take on that?
Let me go first because he took some time to explain the whole gender question.
Yeah.
It's okay.
These platforms are amazing to the extent that you have a common place where people check in first thing when they wake up, where mainstream media picks on trends and topics and interests and passions. Any fool in the state would be an even bigger fool if he didn't use social media as a barometer of what's really happening. So you can be sure these are the things nowadays that they're monitoring.
Because these days it's more of not even turning on the news, it's just straight to your phone to see
Totally,
what's
it's
trending.
live, it's real, it's raw. And that's why repressive regime, for example, China, etc., block social media. It's also a tool that you can really use to mobilize.
Not just Uganda here.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to be here like to campaign for Miguna or anything, but you can see that this whole impasse with Miguna has steadily built him almost now to a household name. A lot of Kenyans now know who this person is, what the issue is, and through these different platforms, you then have an opportunity to listen to someone, to look at their tweets, to see how they think, to see how they reason, how they persuade, how they sell. So this is really powerful. The other thing that is obvious with social media is the power of the anecdote, the power of bringing accountability by talking about things that happened when there was no social media. So for example, you saw the Hollywood case where actresses are coming in and saying, you know what, I was a victim through 1997, 99, Harvey Weinstein did this. And someone else says, you know what, I thought I was the only one. He actually locked me in his office. Remember when he was at KTN? And before that when he was at etc. You know, now this is extremely powerful. And in the age of social media, again, to Mutai's point, there's something about truth and authenticity. The audience can just look at Mugore's truth and tweets, and you can see the authenticity in it. I saw some tweets from a producer who worked for a rival station who explained how she got in trouble one day in school because she got a letter from a boy and the teacher read it in front of everyone and then belittled her for being fat and being a slut and all of this. And you can see this is from like a different generation just 20 years ago. And you can also see how wrong this is. You see discussions about how people are raised, how them not being visited at school meant a lot for their
that actually meant a lot
for their development and for who they became ultimately, for how they handled their feelings and their emotions and their need for love, not just their need for pocket money or good grades. And you can see how that situation and that reality has a bearing on who these people become today, when they are working, when they're in positions of authority, when they can hire a house girl, when they're a manager at their office. And many times because of that background, they just go on to become the most coldest, meanest, selfish human beings. And platforms like these now give us the data and the information to be able to look and ask yourself, how come Mutai is so open-minded? How come he's so cruel? How come he's so willing to try a different religion? How come he doesn't like religion? How come he's unkind? How come he's very kind? Because you've got people, even on these platforms, that will just help a stranger. You know, you see this all the time. It happens on mainstream media as well, Mugore, but many times someone will just take the lead quickly and say, hey, this story about the child whose box had only 2 soaps, they have no food, etc. Give me the number quickly, and then it just floods. And soon you see a tweet, hey, the boy from Mosop, you know, we have paid their school fees until end of for 4 years. So this is really powerful. It's not just a play tool. It's not just humor. It's not entertainment. It's such a powerful tool that influences policy, obviously, on many levels, and that showcases, just like media, your strengths, your skills, your stand, your biases, and what have you. And in the open marketplace, someone is going to see that and take those skills and utilize them for a certain end.
Mutai, what's your take?
Yeah, about you talked about social media and politics.
And politics,
for there's something I've said, and I want to say it here, that in Africa and Kenya in particular, first of all, in Africa, social media is not so developed in so many places. We have social media is quite developed in Kenya. It is developed in South Africa and Nigeria, and of course Cairo, that is Egypt, to some extent. But the most areas where it is developed is Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya. Actually, even social media giants like Facebook, Twitter do have offices in those 3 countries. Now, there's something that I want to say. Many people don't know that social media is so developed in China and Russia, and USA, of course, and Europe, compared to Africa. China social media is quite developed, even though the government is cracking down on the speech, but it is really, really developed. Most of Chinese are on social media, and I mean, it's so developed there. So when it comes to politics, Kenyans, they have this phrase they normally say, kura haiko Facebook, kura haiko Twitter, you know, kura haiko kwa ground. I mean, yes, it is true, the actual vote haiko Facebook, but the voters are the ones who are on Facebook.
Yes.
I want to say that in relation to politics, in that Kenya, I can say we are almost at the break-even point as far as politics and social media goes. In USA, the president can never actually go to all the states. He can hold at least 1 rally per state, and then maybe add 2 or 3 in other states where they have more votes in the electoral college. Maybe he can add 1 or 2 rallies there, but mostly does one in all the states. That means he can do 1 rally in Kenya, 1 rally in Tanzania, you know, in such manner. And then the rest of the campaigns are done on social media, media buying on of course mainstream and all that. So people rely on social media, they rely on mainstream media to understand what are the policies of a candidate, because not everyone would get to go to those rallies. For instance, if a rally is held in Nairobi, and it's just 1 rally for an election, for a presidential election, definitely someone in Busia might not be able to come. Now they'll have to look for social media. Where is, you know, candidate Trump? Where is candidate Trump? Where is candidate Hillary? And then maybe also look for ads and, you know, watch their TVs to understand the policies of these candidates. That's why they take their presidential debates very seriously. It is an opportunity for these candidates to speak directly to the people through TVs again, and of course social media. So I'm saying we are at a break-even point, because Kenyans need to realize we've reached a point whereby kura haiko kwa ground. Kura iko kwa ground, na iko Facebook, na iko Twitter, na iko kwa TV. Kura iko kila mahali. That's something that Kenyans need to wake up to. The reason why I'm saying this is because we should get tired with the point whereby if I come and speak on, you know, I do a small video, put it on Facebook, speaking to voters directly, you need to take me seriously the same way you'll take me seriously if I should have come to your area. Because Kenyans have this point that siwezi kupigia kura hujakuja kuniomba kura, you haven't come to our home area.
Come physically.
Come physically. You know, we need to move from that to a point whereby I don't need to come to Machakos, I don't need to come to Embu. You need to just listen to me and watch me on TV, tell you, articulate my policies, and then if you love them, vote for me. If you don't like them, it's fine and good. Vote for the other candidate. So Kenyans need to wake up to that reality where we are moving to. because social media is becoming an integral part
Yeah.
of politics, governance, and development. It is becoming part of it. It has become part of it in other countries.
Yeah.
You can see even the U.S. politics of 2016, they were actually fought on social media.
Yeah, yeah.
It was about propaganda. It was about proxy wars, data wars on social media. Even Cambridge
Hacking.
Analytica.
Yeah.
Cambridge Analytica, used most of data from Facebook.
Yeah.
They have been indicted for the same. They've been asked to, even Facebook itself has been asked to pay to a tune of 5 billion Kenya shillings to Europe for allowing their data to be manipulated by Cambridge Analytica. So basically, we need to wake up to the call that social media is part of it.
That's what's
Yeah, I don't need to come
now.
to
Yeah.
I don't need to come to where you are.
Yeah.
Kura iko Facebook, kura iko
Nikienda
Twitter,
tu Twitter
iko ground pia.
naona picha ya Babu Owino ina trend doing
Because
drugs
in reality, the voters are the ones who are on Facebook, not
Yeah.
robots.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm
What am I
underscoring.
gonna
And that's why I'm underscoring.
Uh,
Mutai is very right. You see, there's a way Kenyans are cynical
Yeah.
initially, and there's also a way in Kenya that everything that is impossible in the end just happens. So a lot of that talk about, oh, this is social media, this is what. The truth of the matter is that there's more connectivity. Almost everyone now has a smartphone.
Yeah.
And because of curiosity,
Even
people
kids
are
nowadays.
people are on Facebook, they're
Yeah.
on these things, and the trends are more and more, the graphs are incremental rather than the opposite. And so what's going to happen is any analog dinosaur that just doesn't understand these trends and these concepts will be shocked one of these fine days when they were mocking, because that's how societies are.
Yeah.
They're mocking, oh, Peter Kenneth is on your Facebook, and then a Facebook candidate will win and win big. And then they're like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Yeah.
It's foolhardy not to understand the digitization and the digital shift that is there, the power of virtual campaigning, as he's talking about, the power of selling. I mean, there are businesses now that are doing a lot on digital ads, on e-business, while a lot of their competitors are still sitting in the old Mabati kiosk that they set up in 1989, just waiting for a customer, not knowing the power of a website, of digital payment, M-Pesa, digital payment platforms, etc. So it's very true.
And then, Benji, there's also another reality that we need to face. Social media developed between 2007 towards 2012.
I joined in 2009.
Yeah, 2009. Exactly. That is the boom. That's when really it became something that to look at.
Yeah.
Now, if you realize that most of Kenyans at the moment, actually from the statistics, the previous census, most of Kenyans right now are between the age of 35 and below. These are the people who were born in 1989, 1980. So these are the youngsters. In 2009, these people were 19 years old.
Yeah.
They were 19, 20, 21
Yeah,
there.
19.
So basically, these are the people who are on social media as we speak.
Yeah.
The rest of the people in 2009 were the old guys. I mean, the 1970s, the guy were born 1980s, 1960s.
Yeah.
You see, and these are the people who used to say, "Kura iko kwa Facebook, kura iko ground." These are the people who used to say that. But now, you see, the 1985 forwards are the ones who are now on Facebook.
Totally.
You see,
Yeah.
and these are the people who have the votes.
And there's also what they're looking for, and there's also the disillusionment. Because, for example, in the case of Kenya, right now, the anger, disappointment, disillusionment, bitterness, and that's why you're seeing BBI not gaining traction.
Yeah.
It's never been this bad. I mean, the electorate is just sick and tired, and they just don't know what to do, and they can't wait to have a change. And so a change candidate, strong, connecting with the ground, using all these alternative platforms, etc., raising clean money, or you've got a good chance.
And of course, speaking about politics and social media, we have one of the issues that happened a few months ago, where Nzioka White announced that they have decided to close down Facebook and Twitter accounts for the president. But before that, immediately before they closed down, if you could have gone to Facebook, every post of the president, people were very bitter. You know, the president could, they could do a post, you see 5,000 comments, by the time you're in 3,000, you'll be depressed.
Yeah.
I
I saw
mean,
that.
people were very bitter.
Actually, his
they
own
were
supporters.
insulting
Yeah.
His own supporters, and that's
his
what led to
own
this
supporters.
decision.
Yeah.
They were very,
I was
very
personally
bitter.
very shocked.
If you go to Twitter, he'll do something, he'll get 2 retweets, 200 comments,
Yeah.
5 likes. The 200 comments,
Are
you
very
read all of
bad,
them,
yeah.
everybody is very
It's
bitter.
just
Yeah.
bitter.
So, I mean, what really led to...
And you see the authenticity of it,
Yeah.
as Mutai is saying, is because Facebook, for example,
Yeah.
has a name, has, I don't want to go so much into detail, but I'm privy to what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I looked at the page before it came down. It was around the time the president signed that controversial VAT bill.
Yeah, exactly.
He also is someone who gets self-conscious and defensive.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So this went on, and he was traveling. So he's just bring that thing here, I sign it, and wow.
It's around the same
They
time.
were like, really? Huyu ni Uhuru ule tulikampenia
Yeah,
last week.
tulivote.
It's
And you see
around-
Jerry writing this.
Yeah.
She's writing from
Murang'a.
Juja,
Yeah.
and then the responding to her is Kimani. Kimani is like, oh hi Jerry, ni lori yangu tulitumia. Remember the day we slept kwa Washira,
Yeah.
tukingoja kufuel, tuende kutana na President Gatundu, ndio tuende Nyeri. Aki Uhuru, Mungu anakuona, blah blah blah.
And then it
you know,
just went ham after
that
that.
kind
yeah.
of blowback.
Yeah.
You can't deal with that.
It's around the same time. Actually, it's the first time that the president
Because it's so real.
used his own Twitter account to block someone. That someone was me. I almost went to court, actually.
Wow. In fact, I was even going to ask you, have you guys
almost
ever
went to
gotten... I was even about to ask you, have you guys ever gotten threats for your political opinions?
No, of course,
Typically
sometimes.
you'll get some
You'll
threats.
get,
Of
yeah.
course, they are always.
But are they
there.
that serious? Like,
Yeah, they can be serious.
like
and
until
serious.
you're scared
I know
for
he's
your
been
life?
followed
Serious.
around.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Sometimes you
Wow.
listen to your phone and what have you. I mean,
Wow.
if
crazy.
you're, remember the guy Levi Connes? Levi is a friend of ours who works in the media
I
as
know
well.
Levi.
And he got in a bit of trouble. He trended for tweeting something to President Kagame.
Yeah.
And of course, you see the power of social media. So whatever you tweeted was seen by the president, by Rwandese, by us, by whoever
Yeah.
else. I mean, I get tweets and responses and whatnot from guys in Washington, D.C. on topical stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's powerful. I have someone that follows my account that worked in the White House.
Wow.
You know, yeah, so we can DM, etc. And of course, the way the platform works is then you've got agencies, government agencies that see that and also follow because they want to see what you're talking about, and on, you know.
Do you
So
think
it's
that's
not,
why-
it's not like kiddie stuff. It's not like for
Do
play.
you think
In
that's why
fact-
Uganda, I mean, Museveni doesn't want, is trying to avoid all that. That's why he's really controlling.
Because he's really,
Because
I
he
mean,
knows
because he's
what's
from the
going to
past.
come. Yeah.
Let me-
Exactly,
let me-
and because he's from the
Let
past.
me say
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
You've said something that this whole thing is not kiddish, it's not. See,
Yeah,
videos
it's
are
not a
total-
joke, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
say something along those lines. And this is now the connection of social media and politics, where it is. I normally see it when I use this example. I see it as quite so strong.
Yeah.
Is there's a time in Rwanda a lady called Diane Rwigara was arrested, and she was she was given some charges there, funny charges of treason and all that.
Yeah.
A politician actually.
Yeah.
She wanted to run for president, and somehow she was not really a threat to Kagame, but she was garnering a lot of support from people, and she was speaking about these issues that the people in Rwanda don't like to speak about. So she was arrested, put in jail, and she was facing 25 years imprisonment.
Yeah.
So we started talking about it, just right here in Kenya. I started talking about it. I remember Benji talked about it.
Yeah.
Everybody here talked about it. And I was on the forefront talking about it.
Yeah.
I actually received a call from high-placed people in State House here in Kenya telling me, Bana,
Wacha.
achana hii kitu. Even their own ambassador tried looking for me, only for me to learn that I've been blacklisted from entering
wow.
the Rwandan territory.
Yeah.
So, but the good thing
Yeah,
is, the good thing
really.
is, the good thing is that she ended up. They released her
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
immediately when we were
It's
making
like
this
even
noise.
like the Joy Doreen Bira also, it was all Kenyans.
Oh, it just went
free,
viral.
yeah,
It was an
free,
it's an
free,
explosion.
Until they just, yeah.
Of course, I mean,
so
because
social media, politics.
Joy got big numbers. I was part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
so
huge.
they just look at the
So-
responses and the veracity of the calls.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so you use your power in the right way. I knew now tweeting as Benji Ndolo.
Yeah.
You know, and she's just sitting in jail, and she's I mean, she came out. I saw her interview.
Yeah.
She almost had a meltdown.
Yeah.
Because she was overwhelmed.
Like she's not believing.
She's
like,
sitting in a cell and guys are
So
literally lighting fires.
You can't believe it. You know, when you've been arrested, I've been arrested before for speaking about these things. You can't believe it. You know, you're there, you're like, come on. And you just arrested me for saying
for saying what you feel.
You know,
yeah.
So
it was a firestorm.
Yeah.
And
it was
do you think
affecting
it works positively? Because like King Kaka, if not for social media, if we think of the previous regime back then, don't you think he would have just disappeared somewhere, arrested, and just disappeared if not for social media?
Let me answer that this way.
Yeah.
You have to be very analytical and think long term to understand some of these things.
Yeah.
So a very simple mind won't understand what King Kaka has done. They'll mock it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, truth is also so powerful. That's why you saw Ameguru jumping and panicking and rushing to sue him, etc. What King Kaka has done is two things. Number one, he's talked about the truth of the difficulty of the reality of the situation we're in politically, which is defined by thuggery, theft, gimmickry, lies, betrayal, etc. A situation of, you could say, our own making because we're the ones who vote for them.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, he's planted a seed. So Kenyans know this is not working. The taxation regime is a mess. Consumer prices are out of control. We don't have good governance, etc. And it's on us to change it. So he's planted a seed, and the seed grows, and one day it's a big tree. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Though personally, I never agreed with how King Kaka went about it, and of course I voiced it out. That's not to say that King Kaka actually raised legit issues, the issues that we normally talk about. You've talked about it, Benji, on your timeline. I've talked about it on my timeline. Kenyans know about it. So he voiced the exact same things that we've been voicing out. I agree with him completely, but for me, I had disagreed with him on the methods and the calls that we were calling around when he released the song. People started saying, let's go for a revolution. I was against the revolution thing, and I said it openly. Not that I'm not for change or something like that. I was just against the hypocrisy. You know, Kenyans like to hype themselves around something and then after a few days forget about it and move on. Kenyans are those kind of people. And then when you call them to the street, like, okay, you talk about revolution, you've talked about it on social media, come to the street. Let's go do it. They don't do it. So I was against the whole idea of revolution and how we went about it. But I agree with the message. I agree with the message of King Kaka. And I agree with you. Social media is very powerful. It puts you on a level whereby the government cannot do anything to you. You see, the people like Edward Snowden, people like Assange could have disappeared long time ago. But just because they've put themselves out there, you cannot kill Julian Assange for coming up with WikiLeaks. You cannot kill Edward Snowden. People just
These guys
say
have millions of followers.
You see, people
across the world.
You see,
around the world.
If Edward Snowden disappeared around the time he was talking about those issues in the USA, people could have said it is USA. You killed him.
Correct.
You killed him. So they also have to protect him so that they don't get accused of, you killed him, for murder. So basically, social media has become a platform whereby it's also some sort of security. And Miguna said the same thing the other day. Someone asked him, why don't you just shut up, get into the plane, before they see you on the plane, suddenly you're in Kenya and then we're here. Why are you posting where how you're traveling and all that? And he responded exactly the same way I could have responded. It is good to post where you are, what you're doing, so that they don't kill you. If you shut up, you will disappear. Nobody will know where you are.
Where you went.
Typical Miguna fashion said, no, they kidnapped me.
Guys, unfortunately our time is up and we could go on and on and on, but we can quickly tell people where they can find you, your handles, to follow you.
I'm at Benji Ndolo. Benji is BNJI. Follow me for truth, cookies, nuggets on just about everything.
What are cookies? Kenyans don't know cookies.
Cookies are edible.
Like it needs to be very
edible bites of information and perspective that make sense and make a difference to your life, be it on different professions, business, social, political, governance, etc. You can also catch me on Facebook, but the best place is follow me on Twitter, and let's keep interacting, let's keep talking, and thanks for watching. Thanks for having us, Mugara.
Anytime.
You can find me on Twitter at It's Mutai. Of course, if you're on Twitter, you already know Lord Mutai is me. On Facebook, you can also find me there at Mutai, at Abraham Mutai. On Instagram, I'm also there at It's Mutai. All those platforms are verified, so you just look for the blue tick and you find me there. So let's carry on the conversation.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming. You're most welcome to come again. I feel like we
Thank you
still
for having
have
us.
so much to talk about at
You're such a warm host. So we used to add
Thank you.
interviews.
Thank you.
We go and bow to an interview. Thanks for having us.
Thank you
This was so
much.
soft for us.
Thank
It was
exactly.
easy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we enjoyed it.
So guys, let's continue with the conversation on social media. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. Like, wow, it's been such a heated interview and I've enjoyed myself. But don't go anywhere, because after the break we have Catherine Mwangi. And of course, I'd like to thank Victoria Courts for this amazing space. They have amazing furniture. You need to make your way here. They are along Mombasa Road, just before Standard Group. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.